Good morning, everyone. Today I am going to explain computer networks and uses of computer networks. Before going to start today's class, we are already completed about data communication and need for data communication. So data communication is nothing but exchanging of data between two devices or two things. The exchanging of data between source to receiver. So data communication is on three modes. Last class only we can discuss about that simplex, half duplex and full duplex. Simplex is nothing but unidirectional data transmission. Half duplex is nothing but sender to receiver, again receiver to sender. Full duplex is nothing but data transmission both the directions simultaneously. Data communication will be consist of five main elements. First one is the message, transmitter, channel, receiver, destination. Input message data, that is nothing but source. Input message is nothing but source data. Data will be exchanged to transmitter. Transmitter is carrying the data and it will be exchanged to channel. Channel is nothing but a connection established from sender to receiver. Receiver will receive the information next and it will be exchanged to destination. These are the main five elements of data communication system. And the data communication system is also depends on the time. Next, accuracy. So accuracy is nothing but with the data transmission output without arranging noisy information. Next, time, within time data will be sending. Next, without time delay data exchanging from sender to receiver only. Next one is the data communication. It also depends on the protocols. Protocols is nothing but some set of rules or agreement between sender to receiver. Next, without protocols is nothing but without agreementing the data will be communicating but without exchanging. These are all the topics we are covered in previous class. Next, today's class I am going to explain computer networks and uses of computer networks. First, signal. A signal is an electromagnetic or electrical current that is used for carrying of data from one system or network to another. The signal is a function that conveys information about a phenomena. So first, signal is nothing but it is an electromagnetic or electrical current is used for carrying of data from one system to another or one network to another. So in electronics and telecommunications, it refers to any time varying voltage that is an electromagnetic wave which carries information. So the signal will be either is in form of generally an analog signal or digital signal. So that's electromagnetic or telecommunications. A time varying voltage is an electromagnetic wave which carries information. The information carrying is nothing but it is a time varying voltage electromagnetic wave. Next, analog signal and digital signals are different type of signals. The analog signal is nothing but the analog signal it uses a continuous range of values that help to represent an information. Whereas digital signal uses only discrete, that is nothing but 0 and 1 will be used for representing information. Analog is nothing but continuous range of values. The analog signals contains infinite number of levels. The amplitude of analog signals it will be changed continuously with respective of time. Amplitude is nothing but the voltage will be changed continuously with respective of time and it occupies infinite number of levels. Whereas digital signal is nothing but it uses only zeros and ones, that is nothing but it is discrete signals, it uses zeros and ones. Next, the analog signals are in a continuous, it occupies infinite range of values, more extract values but more difficult to work. Whereas digital signals it uses only discrete levels and it occupied finite range of values, that is nothing but 0 and 1. The finite range of values are only 2, 0 and 1, not as exact as analog but easier to work. And the main disadvantage of analog signal is nothing but it contains more noise. The output of analog signal will be more noise. The digital signals have less noise. The output of digital signals has less noise. So difference in working is nothing but the working of digital signals are more reliable and accurate because they use the digital media or the numeric method, whereas analog signals is based on the small fluctuations. The need of digital signal is nothing but it will be more reliable and more accurate, and it uses only the media or numeric method. Digital signals uses only zeros and ones. Analog signals occupies infinite number of levels. The digital signals are used to play the information which is came from resampling, whereas analog signal are known for playing recorded data. The analog signals are used for recorded data and digital signals are used to play the information from resampling. Next, digital signals have priority over analog signals because with the help of digital signals, users have ability to change the visual, the audio or re-recorded it, but with analog signals you cannot do such parameters. So by using of digital signals we can ability to change the visuals, audio, video or re-recording things. The analog, by using of analog things we can do not change these type of parameters. Analog signals can, but analog signals you can do such parameters. Next, examples of analog signal is nothing but an analog signal can be any time varying signal. This is the analog signal, sine wave, any time varying signal. The minimum and maximum values can be either positive or negative. This is the positive value and this is the negative value. Next, they can be periodic, repeating or non-periodic signals. Next, the sine wave and square waves are the two common analog signals. Note that the square wave is not a digital signal because its minimum value is a negative value. Next, video and audio signals, random periodic. This is the periodic signal, this is the non-periodic signal. So analog signals can be time varying signals. This is the examples of analog signals. Whereas this is the square wave. The square wave which is not a digital signal. This is the type of analog signal. The square wave, two common signal. The analog signal has a sine wave and square wave. The square wave is not a digital signal because it contains a minimum negative value. It contains a minimum negative value. So that's why it is type of analog signal only. Next, analog transmission. Transmit analog signals without regard to content. Attenuation limits length of transmission link, and the cascaded amplifiers boost signals energy for longer distance but cause distortion. Analog data can be tolerate distortion and it introduce errors in the digital data. And transmit analog signals without regrade or to contains. Main the analog signal disadvantage is noise, but the advantage of analog communication is it is the basic type of communication. The attenuation limits length of transmission link. Next, conditions and properties of analog signals is nothing but the major advantage of analog signals is it is a infinite amount. Major advantage, analog signal is infinite amount of data and density is much higher. Next, easy processing. Disadvantages is nothing but unwanted noise in recording. Next, if we transmit data at long distance, then unwanted disturbances is there. Generation losses is also a big kind of analog signals. So the major advantage is, first it is the basic communication system, density is higher and easy processing. The main disadvantage is unwanted noise. Noise is the main problem in analog signals, whereas the digital signal contains less noise. So unwanted noise, if we want to transmit long distance, the unwanted noise will be disturbing here. Next, generation loss is also main disadvantage. Digital transmission. Digital transmission is nothing but it concerned with content of signal. Attenuation endangers integrity of data. Digital signals Next, repeaters achieve the greater distance. Repeaters recover the signal and transmit. Next, digital signals, it uses only the levels of binary 0 and binary 1 concerned with content of signal. It contains less noise compared with analog signal. So this is the examples of digital signals. The digital signals are commonly referred to as square waves or clock signals. The analog signals, whereas analog signals may be represented in the form of sine wave or square wave, the digital signals will be referred as square waves. The digital signal contains negative value is type of analog only, or the square wave contains negative information and negative data. It refers to a type of the square wave refers type of analog signal only. Digital signal refers only square waves and clock waves. The minimum value must be either 0 volts and the maximum value must be 5 volts. They can be periodic, that is nothing but periodic signals is repeating, or non-periodic is nothing but non-repeating. The time of the signal is high TH. TH is nothing but time at a high section, and it can vary from 1% of period to 99% of period. Next, text and integers. The main advantage, this is the digital signal. So digital signals is nothing but it is in type of square waves only. The advantages of digital signals is nothing but the main advantage, because of the digital nature they can travel faster over digital lines. Next, ability to transfer more data as compared to analog signals. So the digital signals is nothing but faster data transmission purpose we can refer digital signals. At the same time faster, and noise also will be less compared with analog signals. The main disadvantage of digital signals is nothing but it occupies greater bandwidth is essential, whereas in analog signal the bandwidth will be less. The advantage of analog signal is it occupies less bandwidth. The disadvantage of digital signal is nothing but it occupies more bandwidth. Next, system and processing is also more complex. Whereas analog signal will be easy to construct, it is easy. Here the system and processing is more complex. There are some differences between analog and digital data is nothing but first, name of the signal is the differences. First, see parameter, the differences is nothing but type of parameter and analog communication, digital transmission. First type of signal is analog signal. This is the analog signal. Analog signal which represents the sine wave, whereas digital signal which represents in square wave. Next, in analog signals, noise, by taking noise parameter, in analog communication noise will be high, whereas in digital communication noise will be less. Next, the bandwidth purpose, the analog communication it occupies less bandwidth, whereas the digital communication it occupies more bandwidth. Next, power requirement purpose, the requirement of power in analog communication is high. In digital communication it requires low power. Next, design complexity, the design complexity is of analog signals will be less. The design complexity of digital signal will be more. Next, security purpose, the analog communication will be less secured compared with digital. So the digital signals are more secured. Crosstalk is nothing but noise. In analog communication the noise will be more, whereas in digital communication the noise will be less, the crosstalk will be less. Attenuation is nothing but reducing. Attenuation will be high. Here the digital signals, the attenuation will be low. Next, the cost of equipment is analog communication will be low cost and the digital communication will be high cost. Digital communications is high cost. Multiplexing parameter, we can take the parameter multiplexing. The analog communication is a PDM. Next, here the digital transmission is TDM, time division multiplexing, pulse division multiplexing. Modulation techniques here used. Amplitude modulation is a type of analog communication only. The modulation techniques of analog communication is amplitude modulation, frequency modulation, pulse amplitude modulation. PM stands for pulse modulation, PPM, pulse position modulation, PWM is nothing but pulse width modulation. Amplitude, frequency, pulse modulations, these are the three modulation schemes, and also pulse amplitude, pulse position and pulse width modulations. The digital transmission, it supports the modulation techniques as pulse code modulation, digital modulation, next amplitude shift keying, frequency shift keying, phase shift keying and quadrature amplitude modulation. Next, these are the differences between analog and digital communication signals. Next one is the computer networks. A computer networks is nothing but a network consists of two or more number of computer systems that are interconnected to each other through the medium links. The medium links is also called communication channels. For exchanging the information is called computer network. So it consists of two or more number of computers that are interconnected to each other through the media link. For exchanging the information is called computer networks. By using of computers only we can share the data. The computers will be interconnected to each other through the medium links or communication channels. The need of interconnection is nothing but for exchanging the information. Two or more computers are interconnected. The interconnection is nothing but it uses for exchanging the data. The interconnection, it needs a media link or a communication channel. The two computers are said to be interconnected if they are able to exchange the information. Next, computer networks. A computer network is a group of computers. Two or more computers are a group of computers that uses a set of common communication protocols over digital interconnections for the purpose of sharing resources located on or provided by the network nodes. So it will be used for common communication protocols over digital interconnection for the purpose of sharing resources located and provided by the network nodes. The interconnection between nodes are formed by broad spectrum of telecommunication network technologies based on physically wide optical and wireless radio frequency methods that may be arranged in a variety of network topologies. Topology is nothing but interconnection or arrangement of devices. So the interconnection between nodes, sharing of resources located by the network node. So the interconnection between network nodes in the form of telecommunication network. Next, technologies based on the physical wire, optical and wireless communication may be arranged in different network topologies. This is the computer networking diagram. A computer network is a system in which multiple computers are connected to each other to share the information and resources. This is the main computer to exchange. The computer network system in which multiple computers are connected. So the multiple computers are connected to share the information or resources. These are the different multiple computers are connected or exchanging information or sharing of information purpose. Next, uses of computer networks. The major reasons for the use of computer network are resource sharing, high reliability of communication, cost effective. Next, mode of communication among widely separated users, electronic messaging, transfer file, share printers. These are the main 7 reasons for using computer networks. Computer network is nothing but exchanging of data between two or more interconnected computers. So two or more interconnected computers by using of a communication channel or a media link. So why we are exchanging is nothing but the main basic 7 reasons for using of computer network is nothing but the first one is resource sharing. Resource sharing is nothing but using computer network, it is possible to share the programs, data and other resources among several users on the network can access their data even if they are at geographically distant location with the help of computer networks. So the need of resource sharing is nothing but it is possible to share the programs, data and other resources among several users on the network can access their data. So if they are in geographically in different locations, with the help of computer networks we can easily share the data or programs to several users. Next, the several users can access their data by using of computer networks. Next, high reliability of communication. So high reliability is achieved by having alternate sources of resources supply. Next, cost effective. Computer networks, it allows sharing of resources that it is called effective, cost effective. Next, mode of communication among widely separated users. So using computer networks, users who are at distant locations can communicate easily. Distant locations is nothing but different locations, different destinations. So using computer network, who are at distance locations, they can communicate easily. A live example of this is teleconferencing. The teleconferencing, it allows people to communicate without the need for to them get under a common roof. So the main example is nothing but teleconferencing. The teleconferencing is nothing but it uses the peoples are communicating without need of communicate without the need to get under a common roof. Next, electronic messages. We are already know the electronic messages. Electronic message is nothing but emails, electronic mails. The most widely used computer network application is electronic mail. The electronic mail or email is the fast processing of data communication by using of computer networks. Next, the email system, it supports to point communication or point to multi-point. So we can communicate individual sender to receiver or multiple receivers, sender to multiple receivers, the data sharing from sender to multiple receivers at a time. Next, the data sharing speed also fast. Next, email system is secured system, security type of data transmission, and the data transmission speed is high. Next, the data will the transmission, it supports to either single user receiver or multiple receivers. Next, transfer of files. To copy the files quickly from one computer to other computer without exchanging the hard disk. Easiest way of file sharing. Next, share printers. Using LAN, we can share one or more printers among several workstations. LAN stands for local area networking. By using of local area networking, we can share one or more printers to among several workstations or computers. So the main need of computer network is nothing but data will share safely and securely, and the data transmission speed is high. The main three things by using of computer network is data transmission speed is high and it will be more reliable, and transmission of data will be from one computer to another computer with the highest data rate and highest speed. Next, it will be more secured. Uses of computer network. Uses of computer network is nothing but computer network, it supports to many applications and services such as access to the World Wide Web, digital video, digital audio, shared use of applications and storage servers, printers and fax machines. Fax stands for facsimile transaction machine. Fax machines and use of email, electronic mail and instant messaging applications. The main uses of computer networks is to access the World Wide Web, that is nothing but www. World Wide Web, digital video and digital audio. Next, shared digital audio, shared use of applications, storage servers, printers, fax machines and emails, instant messaging applications. These are the main need of computer networks. So the computer networks, uses of computer network in business applications. Business applications is nothing but resource sharing. In business applications, we have used computer network as a property of resource sharing. Next, VPNs is nothing but virtual private networks. So virtual private network, client server model. Client server model is nothing but connection from client to server, again a connection from server to client. So client server model. Web applications, web application, worldwide web applications purpose. Next, communication medium between employees, employees purpose. IP telephony, IP stands for internet protocol in telephony line connection, internet protocol. Next, voice over internet protocol, that is also called VoIP, voice over internet protocol. By using of voice only we can communicate with internet on. So internet purpose. Desktop sharing, sharing the desktop from many single user to many users. Next, e-commerce, e-commerce websites is nothing but electronic commerce. Next, this is the main applications of business applications. And another home applications of computer network is nothing but internet access provides to home users without connectivity to remote computers. So with connectivity to remote computers. So internet access is provided by the home users with connectivity to remote computer. Next, personalized information purpose. And another one is the peer-to-peer connection purpose. We are using computer network in home applications. The main aim of computer network is nothing but the easiest way of sharing of data with highest data rate and highest speed. Next, by using of computer networks, the noise will be less, the output will be more perfect, highest data speed, highest. Next, high data will be exchanged with high security. Uses of computer networks in business applications. Most companies have a substantial number of computers. So for example, a company may have a computer for each worker and use them to design product, write brochures and do the payroll. So this is the example. So most companies have substantial number of computers, that for example a company may have a computer for each worker and they use to design a product, write brochures and a payroll. The goal is to make all the programs, equipments and especially data available to anyone on the network without regret to the physical location of resource and users. So the main goal is nothing but it will be connectivity to all users, to make all programs, equipment and essential data will be available to anyone on the network without regret the physical location of resources. So this is the importance of computer networks. So in today's class I am completed about analog communication, digital communication, computer networks and uses of computer. So analog signal, digital signal is nothing but analog is a continuous. Analog signals is nothing but the amplitude of analog signals will be continuously changing and it occupies infinite number of levels, whereas digital signals is nothing but discrete levels. Digital signals is nothing but discrete signals. It contains 0 and 1s. Next, the main disadvantage of analog signal is it occupies more noise compared with digital signals. The digital signal it occupies less noise, but the analog signals is the primary signals or basic signals, burst type of communication. Digital signals is nothing but discrete, advanced technology, discrete communication. The noise will be less. For bandwidth purpose, the analog signals occupies less bandwidth compared with digital signals. So difference of working is nothing but analog signal is nothing but it will be changing continuously. The amplitude will be changing continuously with respective of time. So the analog signals is a periodic or non-periodic signals. The periodic is nothing but repeating, non-periodic is nothing but not repeating. Next, the examples of analog signals is sine wave and square wave. Sometimes the square wave is also example of analog signal and also digital signal. So the sine wave and square wave are the two common analog signals. Square wave is not a digital signal because it has a minimum value is negative signal. So analog signals it supports for audio and video communication. Next, the main advantage of analog signal is only it occupies less bandwidth and basic communication system. The main disadvantage is it have more noise. Next, Digital signals have priority over analog signals because the help of digital signals user is ability to change the visuals and audio or re-recorded it, but with analog signals you can do such parameters. Next, analog signals advantages. Major advantages, it occupies infinite number of levels. Next, density is much higher, easy processing, but unwanted noise is recording. If we want to data transmission for long distance, the unwanted noise also carrying, the unwanted disturbances is there. Next, generation losses is also one disadvantage. Digital is nothing but digital repeaters are greater distance. The data transmission, it supports for greater distance and recover the signals and retransmit. Repeaters are used for recover the signals and retransmission. And attenuation endangers integrity of data in digital signals. Digital signals is examples of square waves mainly. Next, square wave or clock waves, it occupies the levels from 0 to 5 volts. It also a repeating and non-repeating signals, that is nothing but the periodic and non-periodic signals. Next, main advantages is nothing but digital signal, it can travel faster than, it can travels in a nature faster and ability to transfer more data, whereas the disadvantages is it occupies more bandwidth and system and processing also more complex, and the cost wise also analog signals is cheaper compare with digital signals. The digital signals are more costliest compare with analog signal. These are the some differences between analog and digital signal. By using of different parameters, we can differentiate analog signals and digital signals. The different parameters it indicates. Name of the signal is a type of either analog or digital. Next, noise levels. Noise levels analog is high, whereas in digital level low noise. Bandwidth purpose, analog occupies less bandwidth, digital occupies more bandwidth. Power, requirement of power, analog communication it requires more power to communicate purpose. Digital signals for less low power for communication. Complexity, design complexity also. Design complexity is nothing but circuit complexity. Circuit complexity, easiest way to design the analog communication. Digital communication is nothing but high complexity to design the digital circuits. Security wise analog is less secured, digital is more secure. Today we are used only digital technology only for the purpose of security and noise, the main advantages in digital communication. Next, attenuation will be high, reducing the signal strength. So next, whereas in attenuation will be low in digital signals. The cost of equipment in analog communication, the analog communication cost is low, digital communication cost is high. Analog communication it supports for pulse division multiplexing, time division multiplexing is the example of digital communication system. Modulation techniques it will be used, amplitude modulation, frequency, pulse amplitude, pulse position, pulse width amplitude, pulse width modulation. These are the best examples of analog communication. Pulse code, digital modulation, amplitude shift keying, frequency shift keying, quadrature amplitude. QAM stands for quadrature amplitude modulation, phase shift keying. These are the examples of digital. And also we covered with today's class computer network also. Computer network is nothing but it is the interconnection of two or more computers. So two or more computers are interconnected by using a media link. The media link is also known as communication channel. So the need of interconnection is nothing but exchanging the information. So exchanging of information from computer to computer by using of communication link or media link. Next, the two computers are interconnected, they are able to exchange the information. Computer network consists of group of computers. The group of computers is nothing but it is a set of common communication protocol over a digital interconnection in the process of sharing resources also. So the interconnection is nothing but the interconnection of nodes is form of spectrum, board spectrum telecommunication network technologies based on the physical, wide, optical and wireless radio frequency methods. This is the simple block diagram of computer networks. Computer network is nothing but a computer network is a system in which multiple computers are connected to each other to share the information. So the to sharing information purpose multiple computers are here connected. Next, the main advantages of computer network is nothing but high data transmission, high security. Next, resource sharing, cost effective. Next, mode of communication, mode of communication among widely separated users, electronic mails, transfer files, share printers purpose. Resource sharing is nothing but it possible to share the resources, programs, data to among several users on the network can access data even they are in geographically different locations. So by using of computer network we can exchange the data. High reliability, cost effective wise, mode of communication by separately widely separated users. So it is the best example of teleconferencing, email system, file transferring also, transferring of files from one computer to another computer, printer sharing by using of local area networking, LAN. So we can share the printers, one or more printers to among several workstations. The workstations is nothing but here the computers only. Next, the computer networks it accessing to World Wide Web. World Wide Web is nothing but www. Digital signals, video signals, digital audio signals. Next, it can share the application, storage servers, printers, physical transaction meters, and use of emails, instant messaging applications. These are the main uses of computer networks. So computer networks it can also support for business applications. In business applications it will be used for resource sharing. Sharing of resources means sharing of data for total employees in the office or business purpose. Next, virtual private networks. So it can be computer network is more secured data, so it will be shared to virtual private network. Client server model, exchanging of information from client to server, again from server to client. So it is the client server model is a full duplex communication system. It exchanges the information. Next, web applications purpose. Web applications is nothing but accessing the internet purpose. Accessing of internet accessing is by using of internet protocol we can access the internet. So web applications, communication medium between employees, internet protocol technology, IP protocol, that is nothing but IP is nothing but internet protocol technology. Voice over internet protocol, VoIP, desktop sharing. Next, e-commerce, home applications purpose, personalized information connection, peer-to-peer network connection from one computer to another computer. Internet access provided with connectivity of remote computers. In business applications, the information will be shared to all the members in all the employees in a company. So all the employees is nothing but the information will be exchanged to all the computers in a company. So the goal of make all the programs, equipment, especially data available in anyone on the network without regrade the physical location. So that's why business applications also computer network is needed. So these are all about today's class: analog digital data, signal, computer networks, and computer uses of computer networks. In next class we can discuss about OSI layer. OSI means open system interconnection. So we'll discuss on next class OSI layer. The OSI it contains the 7 layered structure diagram. The 7 layers are used for 7 different applications. So the designing of OSI layer and importance of the 7 layers, how it can communicate between information from in 7 layers. Next, the need of OSI layer. So what is the use of OSI layer in computer networks? So later we can discuss about OSI layer diagram, OSI layer importance and the layers in OSI layer, each and every layer, the 7 layers important, and the role of 7 layers in networkings. Thank you all.